everyone, it's Tara. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another 5 on Friday video. Today's 5 on Friday is 5 authors that I own books by that I have not read yet. The 5 authors I'm going to talk about today are 5 authors that I own multiple books by, at least 2. For some reason, I haven't read them yet. So let's hop into it. The first author I'm going to talk about is an author that I didn't even know about until I think I was watching a Books in La La video. This author was mentioned and I had never heard of this author until then, and then didn't really think anything of it until I saw one of her books at my Friends at the Library book sale. So I read the back of it, picked it up, sounded interesting, and then a few months ago, one of my coworkers at the salon had a bunch of books that she offered to me to see if I wanted to read. And if I didn't want them, I told her I would donate them to my library. And turns out one of the authors that she had a bunch of books by is this author. So now I own a lot of this author's books. And that author is Patricia Cornwell. So I purchased Postmortem, which is I think it's like a thriller or like a mystery type book that follows medical examiner Kay Scarpetta, and there's an entire series around that character. And I think there might be another series that she writes that follows a different main character. I love a good like mystery thriller, whether it's a legal thriller, like a just scary thriller, whatever it is. And so I decided to pick up some Patricia Cornwell and have not gotten to her yet. But she's an author that I do want to give a try because she writes a genre that I'm very interested in, and she comes highly recommended by one of my coworkers who seems to have somewhat similar reading tastes to me. The next author I'm going to talk about is an author that I have grown up knowing. There have been movies made based on her books. My grandpa has read her, so I grew up like seeing her books on my shelves. I've just never given her a chance, and I don't know why. It's just never really crossed my mind. And again, I found some of her books at a library book sale, so I have picked up a few books by Anne Rice. So she is the author of Interview with a Vampire. She also wrote the Mayfair Chronicles, which this is the first book in the series. And I also own by her like a true crime novel. I've always known about Anne Rice. She's always kind of been at the back of my mind, but I've not ever read her. Author number 3 is an author that came onto my radar because of a particular movie that was made based off of one of her books. I actually still haven't ever watched the movie, but it was a movie that I have been interested in, and as such I was interested in the book and became interested in this author. My sister has read at least some of the books in the series that this movie is based on, and she enjoyed them, and my sisters and I and my mom as well tend to have pretty similar reading tastes. So I really just need to read these. And that is Philippa Gregory, who wrote the Cousins War series. And I don't remember the other series, but they are like 2 series that intertwine, the movie being The Other Boleyn Girl. But I've never read any of these books, and it's, you know, historical fiction. It's about a time period I don't know a ton about, but I've always been interested in. And I don't know why I haven't ever read these books, because they do interest me, and I love watching movies and TV shows about this time period, and I love reading books about this time period. I just have never prioritized Philippa Gregory's books, even though they are highly recommended by my sister and a lot of other people. Just haven't gotten around to it. Author number 4 is an author that I initially picked up on a whim. The book I'm about to show you, I grabbed because it was on clearance at a bookstore. I think the bookstore was Borders based off of the sticker, but I can't tell. And it's a historical fiction book, so it sounded good. And then haven't read it in the 10 years that I've owned it. And then I actually just purchased another book by the same author from Book of the Month last year. Didn't even make the connection that this was the same author. And here we are. And now I really want to read this book. So that author is Beatriz Williams, historical fiction author. This particular book is blurbed by Ellen Hildebrand, who, as we all know, has quickly become one of my favorite authors. So why I haven't given this a chance, even like since discovering Ellen Hildebrand, I can't tell you. All right, and the last author I'm going to talk about today is, again, an author that I hadn't really heard of until I started watching BookTube. But once I started watching BookTube, I heard about this author in like every video that I watched. Like everyone on BookTube, I feel like, has read a book by this author, and I have not. I own 3 of this author's books, and that author is Frederick Bachman. Wrote Beartown, wrote My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry, and a man called Uve. I don't know how to pronounce that, but those are the 3 books that I own. But again, I've never heard a bad thing about this author. I just have not prioritized reading his books. He writes like hard-hitting books, which I tend to like. No good reason why I have not read this author or any of these authors. So that is it. 5 authors who I own multiple books by but have not read. Let me know down below some of the authors that you own books by that you haven't read yet. Have you read these authors? What do you think of these authors? Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy reading. Bye.